What is up, everyone? Flatline here. I am so happy to be back with all of you. I hope you had a great weekend. In this video, I'm going to be going over 5 tips and tricks that I think will make you a much better Crimson Desert player. If you have not seen any of my videos before, I like to incorporate my audience, so if you have any comments that you think would help other players, or maybe a comment that you think I can do a video on, please leave it in the comments below, and it just might be featured in a future video of mine. Now, if you have seen videos of mine, this probably is going to be more of a summary for you. It's all stuff I've gone over in past videos, but I want to put it all together in one video, and let's just get right into it. Now, I want to keep this as short and sweet as possible, so I'm going to be giving really brief descriptions for everything we're going to be going over. If you want a more detailed breakdown, I'll be posting a bunch of links to different videos in the description as well as in the pinned comment. The first thing I want to go over, a viewer had asked me about my camera settings, and I thought this might be helpful. So if you just simply open up your menu by hitting your start button, going over to the others tab, and then going to settings, you'll want to go all of the way over to the right to accessibility. And there's a bunch of different things you can mess around with in here. A few of the things that I turned off was the camera shake intensity, and then as well as the blur intensity and depth of field and chromatic aberration. I don't care for a lot of the after effects that get applied. I like just the clean vanilla version of the game, so I tend to turn all of these things off. The major thing I want to talk about here is this camera distance. This is actually a field of view slider. I don't know if a lot of people know this is here, but I would recommend turning this up as high as you can. I'm on PC, so I'm not sure if this will be any different on console. But in a game like this, it's just going to allow you to see so much more in combat, especially when you're being surrounded by big groups of enemies. And even when fighting against bosses, it's really helpful. You can see more of the arena, and it can make dodging in combat a lot easier. There is also a vertical and horizontal offset that some people might like adjusting to give you a different view of your character. A lot of this is going to be personal preference. The biggest one is going to be that camera distance, which is your field of view. I just wanted to show everybody this is where you can find these settings and adjust these as you see fit. This next trick is a really great quality of life improvement in the early game when you don't have access to a lot of movement abilities and you don't have a lot of stamina. You will need to have the flight ability. As long as you have the flight ability and some stamina food, you will want to hold right on your D-pad. You will then go down to this little tab. This is where your stamina food can be found, and you'll want to make sure that you equip it onto your hotbar. To make sure you have done so, look next to your mini-map, and you should see it there. Once you have it applied, you can then go ahead and start your flight. We'll do a couple double jumps and force palms and activate our flight ability. And you're going to see now as our stamina starts to deplete, normally you would begin to fall out of the sky once you run out. However, with this trick, as we're starting to run out, we'll just hit right on the D-pad. And we can just keep doing this a handful of times. And the more you do this, the farther that you will go. As long as you have stamina food in your inventory, you can do this for as long as you'd like. Obviously, the better stamina food, the easier it will be for you to fly farther distances. Now, it's also really cool because this works the same way while climbing. You can even use items such as the Saint's Necklace, which restores depleted stamina during flight or while you're climbing up a surface. You just have to make sure the item is equipped, and then you'll want to hold right on your D-pad and make sure it is on the equipment hotbar. You will then hold left and right trigger during flight or while climbing to restore stamina. The next tip I want to go over is just some general gear advice. The best thing I can tell you is to hold on to everything until you're absolutely sure that you do not need it. Pearl Abyss has done a really good job in giving us a lot of extra storage space in our Howling Hill camp, so if you do end up running out of room in your inventory, you can go ahead and store the items there. The items that are listed as unequipable will actually be used by your other playable characters, known as Damien and Unka. If you plan on playing as them, you'll want to make sure you save gear so that you have a good set for each character. The other reason you want to hold on to these items is because they will have abyss gears that can be extracted for free by a witch. You can then put these gears into the matching socket on any piece of gear that has an open slot. Gears such as Attack Speed 1 can be upgraded at a witch into higher level gears as seen here. You can see I have 2 Attack Speed 3 gears that would normally be Attack Speed 1, and you can just start to see the trade-off and how important it is to upgrade these gears, as the higher level gears take up the same amount of slots but are giving you even more stats. You'll also want to focus on gears that are giving you ability modifiers. You can see I have Hound's Claw, which is RB plus A, and Shadow Claw, which is right trigger. This is just going to make existing attacks even stronger. There really is so much to cover when it comes to gear in this game, so I recommend checking out my videos where I go into more detail regarding this system if you are looking for some more information on this. This system is one that I had initially missed, and so I figured there might be some other players who might not know about it as well. It takes place at the Kilden workshop, and it's actually very important. You will start off with a quest that has you repairing the kiln. Once that is completed, you will gain access to an NPC known as Grimnir. If you speak with him, you will see an option that says Kuku item crafting and enhancement, and if you click on that, you will see a skill tree that is in the shape of a Kuku pot, which is a really cool touch. Most of you will have a lot of question marks. Those are going to be recipes that we have not unlocked yet. As was pointed out by a previous viewer, Kilgore Trout, most of these recipes are going to be unlocked from completing the witch quests that have you restoring the sanctums. There appears to be 4 sanctums in each major territory. If you are trying to restore a sanctum and it's not letting you, it just means you need to progress farther in the main story first. Sometimes there will be quests that will also give you Kuku pot recipes. If you see any mention of those, make sure you do them right away. There is also a secret mini-game that can be completed at each of the sanctums once you have restored it. You will notice a dial off to one of the sides. I highly suggest zooming in and then getting as close to this dial as you can, as this will make it much easier to see what you are doing. You are then going to want to press and hold LB and RB in at the same time, and then press and hold LB in again. You are then going to be playing Guitar Hero, so whenever you see those jewels, you're going to want to make sure you have LB pressed in, and whenever there is a gap in between it, we are going to release. So we'll aim at the very center here and press LB in again to activate Focus Light, and we are just strumming away on our little guitar. Hold for those 2 that are connected. One more tap, one more, and that should be it. After this, you're going to see an item pop out of the very top, and this is going to be the item that you want to make sure you are sealing. Once the cutscene has finished, you are going to need to get high enough up that you are able to grab the item using the Axiom Force. In this case, I'm going to climb up on one of the pillars, press and hold left stick in to activate Axiom Force, release once the item has been grabbed, and then you can go ahead and press Y or triangle to seal the item in your Kuku pot. I highly suggest going back and doing these now if you have not completed these before. It has also been pointed out that you are able to go back and repeat these. It's not particularly clear how much time must pass before they are able to be repeated, but just know that you do have that option. As a huge thank you, if you're still watching, I figured I would throw in one last bonus tip. There are actually multiple ways that you can solve certain puzzles. For this puzzle in particular, you normally have to turn each of these gears individually until you have a blue line flowing to both the left and the right side. This will then in turn power the generators that are currently lit up blue. However, you can actually bypass this step of the puzzle by opening up your inventory, finding your Kuku pot, opening up its stored inventory. You will then see all the items that you have been sealing. Some of these are labeled as power cores, and these can actually be used to power generators. You simply press X or square when you are hovered over the item to discard it. This will drop the item in front of you. You can then grab the item using the Axiom Force, which is your left stick in, and move it in front of the generator, at which point you can release. You will have to do the same thing for the generator across from it on the right hand side. Most of these items can actually be picked up once the puzzle has been solved, while others require them to remain in place. If you're unsure, simply pick up an item, and if it affects the state of the puzzle, it has to remain there. If the puzzle remains finished, you are good to pick it up. One user also pointed out that the power cells that you have sealed in your Kuku pod will work on the Abyss puzzles where you have to place a square cube onto a dormant square post. The Abyss cell will act in the same way as the power core, replacing the need to complete certain steps of puzzles. Thank you all so much for watching. There are far too many things to learn in this game by myself. If there's anything I missed or questions you might have, please comment down below and they might be featured in my next video. Thanks again for all the continued support, and until next time, peace out.